Are you in the process of creating a logo? Well, let's buckle up, because it's not as simple as you might think. You don't have to put a house in. You don't have to put an aeroplane, a world, a globe if you're a travel company. You don't have to put a dumbbell or some muscly guy lifting weights if you're a gym, because it's more than that. It's like baking a perfect pie. It's more challenging than you actually think to build a logo. There's a lot more elements to go into it. And it's not just as simple as saying, right, I'm a plumber, this is what I do, so I'm going to stick some pipes in, or maybe like a flame for a gas meter, and I'll use blue. Why did you pick blue? Because it looks like gas, it looks like this. Oh, and I like blue. No, you can't do that. It's more than that. It's not as easy as that. Creating a logo is about finding the perfect balance of blend, simplicity, versatility, relevance, and then the memorability to capture and communicate your brand's essence. Remember, it's only 5% of your face. It's literally the nose or your like an eyebrow of your brand. So let's go to your audience. Let's break it down. And first up is simplicity is an absolute key here. Less is more. And when it comes to distributing your brand's essence into your logo, complicated designs can cloud that message, and it can confuse your audience, your clients, and overcomplication can be a pure enemy sometimes. So keep things simple, folks. Like Google did it, TUI's done it, Amazon's done it, Virgin's done it. So there's loads of people out there. I know they're big companies, but they started little as well. So let's talk about the core elements of your logo. These should tell a story if it can, or it should be able to if you use a designer, and it should be able to be your story. It should be your brand story, your company's story, your values that you put in, your philosophy, and what does your company stand for, and what does it mean? Why should people buy from you? And we have to do that with all the key elements that surround just your logo and your word mark or your icon. And we can make it distinguished representation of all these through a balanced word mark or an icon, or maybe both. You've got to kind of think of it as a storytelling in its purest form without writing a book, if you like. Onto versatility, your logo needs to be kind of like a chameleon, if you like, adapting into different situations, from like mobile screens, giant billboards. Your logo needs to shine when it stands out. And remember, not all logos need to be massive. And sometimes they're really, really tiny. And sometimes they're going to be like huge, again, on a billboard or the side of a building, you know, if you're fortunate enough that, or signage, or if you're a shop, you know. For example, as I've said, there is key things that we need to think about. So like color is an absolute must. They speak volume because let me give you an example. Coca-Cola. So if you've got a red background with a white wave, what do you think of? Cola. Red Santa. Cola. You know, you're driving down that motorway or the interstate if you're in America, and you see them yellow arches and you think, that's McDonald's. And you think, I'm hungry. And you see that red and yellow and you're like, personally, I'm starving. Not me personally, but just you. It's not for me because I'm gluten-free, so they don't do anything for me anyway, but that's another story. When you're selecting your colours as well for your logo, you've got to consider like the psychological impact, which is what we've just touched on. Like, you've got to make people think. It's like a hue, it's like a painting, a masterpiece. Like you're a Da Vinci. You've painted the Sistine Chapel, the Mona Lisa, you know, you're capturing your audience, their knowledge, their imagination and feeling. So, you know, next time you see that yellow and red of McDonald's, you'll be like, I'm hungry. And you'll also think about this video, and you'll stop to think when you're next at Costa and you're grabbing that coffee, that why have I made this decision? Or when you see that green with a mermaid and you think, why have I made the decision to come to Starbucks and not an independent? And these are all different things that we have to think about when designing an identity. That and typography, it's not just about choosing font. You know, we have to find that voice as well. And sometimes you can do that through standard fonts, but we still have to tweak them. You know, a designer has to take a font and adapt it and make it work for what we're trying to do. A lot of the time, I know I do, we try to hand draw everything and then find a common font that will match everything that we do, that tells the same story. You can use AI to your advantage as well. You could build the structures of a logo, take some ideas, and then we can go to a different place and start building things together using your keywords. So, you know, you can generate something, but don't settle just for what it produces for you, because you don't need to. You're worth more than that, and your company's worth more than that. So back to type. We've got to try and find the right typefaces for your voice, your brand, which speaks to you. And it's not just about you, it's more about your clients, because your brand is what your clients say about you, you know? Everything else is just the personality that we're building so that people buy from you, you know? So you're not going to sit there and use Comic Sans, whilst, you know, designers have an affinity hate for this font. It does have its situations, you know, like in schools and when people have learning difficulties, it's easier for people with like dyslexia or dyspraxia to read this font, understand it a little bit better. Like, it's a little bit more safe in certain settings, and that's fine. You know, I don't use it personally because, you know, I've taught myself to deal with all fonts, and, you know, I love letters anyway, being a graphic designer. What we have to do is kind of only see everything else in the middle, and you've got to then expand out. And what I'm trying to say here is that with each type or typeface, a person will then shape your brand's personality and how they perceive it. It's readability. It's so crucial, guys. Like, your logo should be able to communicate your brand's message very clearly without all these extra added gimmicks. Sorry, but no one likes squinting to read anything, you know? Like, sometimes we have to work on maybe a G icon or a swoosh, or, you know, you've got Pepsi's symbol with the red and blue and the white in the middle. So, you know, there's different things that goes into crafting your logo. And to conclude, it's like embarking on an epic adventure. It's about creating a symbol that resonates with your audience. It's not about you. It's about the values that you've put in place. But remember, your brand story is what then builds everything else around you. And your logo is literally just the nose of a face, you know, and we have to make it an enduring emblem of what your brand stands for. And that's where a designer comes in. So how do we do this? There's many ways. As I said, we can start with AI, but remember, we do need that human designer element, a person that specializes in brand, corporate identity, strategic placing, marketing as well. Marketing plays a part in everything that we do as well. And these two can go together. Not to be confused with marketers aren't designers and designers aren't always marketers, but we do have skills that intertwine and we work together quite well. Because of that, you're not just paying for a house with some typeface underneath it and you just go off and sell. You know, you guys are paying for the time that it's taken for that designer to study and specialize, the 10 years or so that we've got in terms of graphic design, branding, logo design. You know, I've got 2 degrees in it and I'm proud of that, but that's taken time. You know, I've spent 20 years of my life getting to where I am now, you know? So this is all, everything that we're building towards is being able to give proper design, proper identity to everybody else. And what I want for your business is for you to tell your story and your message. So I tell you what, why I challenge you to write about your business and your values in the comments below, or DM us if you want to keep it private. And if you want some advice, we'll give it you. You know, I'll not charge for advice. Advice is free. Knowledge is key. And we have to keep a knowledge. And then if you think, maybe I need a rebrand, then we can have a conversation then. You know, I'm not going to sit here and critique. I can critique if you want me to critique your logo. I'm not going to sit here and go, it's shit, because I'll expand more on that. I'll just politely tell you it might be shit, but I'm not going to. But let's face it, some big bands get it wrong sometimes as well. I mean, remember the controversy around the 2012 London Olympics. That logo got some stick, dude. Like, that took some hammer. But anyway, I just realised I'm like, you know, vomiting everywhere here on just words. But I think that's it for today. And I hope you enjoyed this video. I enjoyed delivering this, guys. Hit the like, the follow, subscribe, do all that great stuff. And I'll see you in the next. So take care. And remember, when designing your logo, it's more than just text and a house or a dumbbell. And I'll leave you with that. Cheers, guys.